Welcome back, guys, to another Dragon Ball Legends video. Today we're going to be breaking down our first ever double ultra drop, and we're going to be talking about the second ultra in this situation, the ultra final form Frieza. The Goku looks absolutely insane, looking like a #1 contender. Make sure you guys check out his breakdown. And with that being said, let's go into Frieza and see if he's either outgapping Goku or if he's lacking a little short like his tail. With that being said, Frieza is a green ranged unit who is on Frieza Force, transforming warrior, lineage of evil, and powerful opponent. His Z ability is obviously blast attack and defense, and his bonus is to lineage of evil, giving them extra ultimate and awakened damage. Very, very good Z ability, especially for the LOE team, which has primarily been a blast Z ability team for the entire existence that it has existed. The Frieza ability for his Ultra is going to be Lineage of Evil as well, which is very good for him. And if he's on leader, obviously he does get his full effect either way. His Held Strike Arts has no real special effects, it just has Blast Armor. However, his Blast card does give him his Death Beam, which we will talk about later. It gives him 5% of his active gauge on activation every time he uses a Blast card, which is very insane. And we will get to that later when we break down that part of this kit. His blue card does massive slice damage, and on activation gets 30% more damage, and on hit it will apply extreme bleed while making the enemy take 30% more damage and lowering all enemy health restoration by 50%. Very, very good blue card right there, has very solid effects. The fact that it's team wide is absolutely insane. His green card on activation will give him 10% health, 20% gauge, 30% damage, and 50 ki. On hit, it will also let him draw a card and increase all enemy subcounts by 2, basically kind of working as a pseudo lock. And it does combo into everything, which is a generally just very good green card. Nothing too crazy to note about this. The main thing is just that it does pseudo lock you for 2 counts when you get hit by it. On ultimate, he has supreme damage, and on activation, he is getting endurance null and 50% ultimate damage. And on hit, he will destroy your entire hand, seal all your blast cards for 10 counts, and increase all of your team sub counts on switch for 2, which is all pretty solid effects. The main thing here is the destroying hand and sealing blast cards. That is a very good effect to have on an ultimate. Do keep in mind though, none of this is uncancelable. His main ability will let him draw the ultimate art. So with the difference between him and Goku destroys a card to draw his ult. This guy just draws his ult. So keep that in mind when you're differentiating the two. And his health is 20%, he gets ki plus 20, he gets 100% of his unique gauge. He does increase his Dragon Ball by 1 and reduces the enemy Dragon Balls by 1, which if you guys remember Prime LOE, they were very good at getting Dragon Balls and denying the enemy team Dragon Balls, and that seems like something that they are bringing back with this set of LOE units, so very, very good there. Now, his starting abilities look absolutely insane already. He has 300% damage, 200% damage guard, 50% key recovery, card draw, -5 to blast arts cost, -10 to special move arts cost. He gets 30% of his active gauge off the bat as well, and he has endurance built into his kit, which is all going to be uncancelable. Very good baseline to work off of. His unique ability on battlefield entry, he will draw 1 card in his hand if he has 3 or less. He has 15% health every time he comes in, which is going to get very annoying with his sustain. He has 50 ki. He does also nullify type neutral damage when he comes in and lowers enemy heat by 30, making him have some pretty good defensive uses as well. Every time he uses a strike or blast arts, he gets 10 ki, which is essentially -10 cost on all strike and blast, which is very insane. He gets 30% damage for 5 counts, which again is going to be stacking, also very insane. And then he's nullifying special cover changes 1 time, which will reset on switch. So absolutely insane. He has an even better mechanic than Goku. Goku has a similar mechanic, however his is on cards landed, which is a very big difference. Is when cards are used, you see it be a lot more impactful. So Frieza has the better version of that. And when hit by an enemy arts, this also resets on switch. He gets 10% health, lowers ally sub count by 3, lowers enemy ki by 10, and increases all enemies. That is the key there. It increases all enemy arts cost by 15 and also increases their sub counts by 2. So very, very good disrupt, which does activate once, but it does reset on switch. So I think that's going to be a very helpful tool for Frieza. Make sure you guys are utilizing that defensiveness that he does offer. And when he's on the battlefield and the enemy activates special move, ultimate awakens art, or rising rush 3 times, he does nullify attribute downgrades in normal conditions. He cancels them as well. All ally sub counts -10, And the big thing here is that he does cancel enemy buff effects. This activating 3 times on special moves, ultimate, awakens, and rising rush, you have to burn through this with the special moves. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to kill this Frieza. He's going to be absolutely insane if you let him be. And again, it's a good thing that he doesn't activate this if he's not on the field. If he activated this from the bench, that would be insane. But thank God that he doesn't, because that would be insane. As of it is right now, you have to be very mindful that you have used 3 blue cards against this Frieza. Otherwise, this effect will F you over a lot. And that is just something to keep in mind, that this is an absolutely insane effect to give this guy. He has a strike cover change that does combo into blue card. Very good. And then here we are talking about his unique gauge, which again is not his main gimmick. His main gimmick is going to be his active gauge, but we are almost there, so stick around. When the unique gauge becomes full, he gets 10% of his health, 50 ki, 20% damage that is uncancelable for 20 counts, 30% of his active gauge, which is again huge. He cancels attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions, and whenever he activates his death beam with his full unique gauge, he will draw a card, nullify element disadvantage, and penetrate endurance. And he charges this gauge slightly every time he uses an art, and it's consumed entirely on death beam activation with full unique gauge. And now we are finally at the main shows. And now we are finally at the main star of the show, the active gauge. When this Frieza has at least 40% of his active gauge, he can tap on it, similar to what Beast Gohan does, to activate Death Beam, which will allow him to extend his cover null by 5 timer counts. On hit, it will also do damage to the enemy, inflict the enemy with heavy bleed. It will combo into anything, and it gradually charges while not defeated, consume 40% when it does activate, and again, it can also nullify endurance and go type neutral in combination with this full unique gauge that we talked about earlier. You can also use this as a long range combo starter, so you have to be very careful about pressing blast cards against this Frieza, even blue cards, because he can nullify them, and even green cards as well. So that is something to keep in mind when you're fighting this Frieza at a range. He is going to be a very big threat. And then he also has blast armor on top of it to back it up. And the other thing too is, it doesn't say here whether it can or cannot. However, if it works similar to Beast Gohan's, this death beam can actually kill you, which would be insane because it's a thing that can kill you that also combos. So this Frieza looks very, very strong. I honestly don't know who's better between him or Goku. They both look absolutely insane. They might just be a 1A, 1B situation. I think personally, I do probably just have them 1A, 1B, and everybody else is just not on their level right now. But let me know your guys' thoughts on them in the comment section below. This is your boy Kaizer, signing out.